Do we want to like do a little clip and then check the sound, or?
I tested it beforehand.
Okay.
Originally,
am I in frame?
Yes, you are.
We're chilling.
Yes, you're still in frame. Surprisingly.
Yeah, it goes all the way to like.
Your hat is now out of frame. You are out of frame as well. It's like the bill of your hat.
Where is it? Where is it?
That way. That way.
Careful.
Eat the post.
Careful now.
Frame.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, right there.
Frame.
Right there.
This is where the frame is. Do you get the flame in the shot too?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sean, you outdid yourself.
And it's covering up the microphone, so you can't really see the mic.
You can't see that it's
Why'd you tell them?
It's a.
Well, he can obviously
There's no mic.
Yeah.
no
What?
mic.
What microphone?
This is all shot on his phone.
Only.
Shut him.
No, that would
No, this
suck.
is actually
It
no.
sounds
This
so
is
bad.
this is all shot on a very fancy DSLR camera. Everything, audio included.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Well, not just Google, but like
What is
hardware.
it?
Google.
It's a Samsung 830s.
I don't really care either way about phones.
Yeah.
16.
I have an iPhone because it's compatible with like what I do for work
Right.
and like other people.
Yeah. It's just easy.
You know,
it's just easy. That's
It
what
is
it is.
easier.
It's
yeah.
just easy. I like hardware on Samsungs a lot more.
And they've got a lot more cases too.
This is true.
So like I've got a big fat OtterBox because of like work. So
Right.
if I ever like drop it or anything,
It's a beefy boy.
it's a beefy boy. Yeah.
Beef boy.
Yeah. Is my ring on? No. Okay.
Like
Sound check.
Yeah.
I am an old man when it comes to phones. You just see me. I do the thing where like you hold your phone and then you go like this. Yeah. Everybody makes fun of me. They're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Cause it's
No,
huge."
to be completely honest, I do the same thing. I
So,
really
like
do.
when I have to do one hand, I will. Or
Yeah.
when I'm texting, I do both. I don't text. No, I don't text like this. I don't like that. No. Ooh. No, I text with both thumbs, but
Oh shoot.
Well, how big is your font?
it's the biggest. It's the biggest that you can. Put
I've
in.
noticed that. It's like the old man
It's
font. It's
massive.
the old man font.
Yeah,
It's
it's huge. I don't know if you can see it on screen, but it's big.
Pretty big.
It's big.
It's extreme. It's extraordinary large.
Yeah. Well,
Extraordinary.
and it's because like, it's not because I can't see. Like I see okay. I just like, and this is I guess a weird thing of mine, but it's like I put it as big as I can because I don't want to strain my eyes.
Fair enough.
Like, because that's how
yeah.
you lose eyesight.
Right. Right.
It's like,
Right.
I'm just going to make it big so it's easy to read. So I don't have to, like, squint at it or anything.
Make it big.
And we'll
sounds
see
like,
how it goes.
Make it big. Sounds like a. It sounds like a blooper that they had when they were shooting like Sleeping Beauty.
Make it big?
You know, because like at the end of it, it's like make it blue, make it pink.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I'm talking about?
I was like, where are you going with
Very odd reference to be going
Very
for.
obscure reference.
Also, make it big sounds like a really crappy TLC show.
It sounds like a rap song or something.
Sounds like a "that's what she said" joke.
It
That's
sounds
what
like
it
all,
is.
sounds like
What
all
does
of
it
those
sound
things.
like?
It's all of those things combined.
Right.
Anyway,
Welcome to whatever the title is this time.
we're back with Hey Man, It's Parma. We're back.
We are back.
How's it feel?
He's staring at me like I'm supposed to read from a script or something. There's no script in front of me, just by the way.
This is completely unscripted.
Rob is not holding up
Cue cards.
cue cards in the background and telling me to read off of them.
That's right, Hayden. Just keep going.
Today we're going to talk about
Blank.
Skip to Sean. I'm not supposed to read the dialogue, sorry.
Skip to a shot. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, but it's been
It's been a while.
Been a long while.
It's been a while.
Granted, I haven't been on YouTube in that long while.
Yeah. Have you done any? I actually don't. I don't know. Have you done any without me
No.
since you've been?
Well, that
home?
wouldn't make any sense. It's blank with Hey Man, It's Parma. You can't just it's not blank
We could
with
just
Parma.
say it's blank, and then pause, and then say it's.
It's
Parma.
blank with blank. It's
Blank with
Parma.
blank. Just make the blank longer.
Yeah.
So like the line, you know, where you fill in the blank.
Yeah.
It's just
So instead of blank, it'd just be blank with like four A's.
4 E's. Blank with 4
Blink.
E's.
Blink.
Blink. So what are we? Never do that again. Leave the premises. You can cut that part out.
Trevor just gagged himself with a sucker.
Is this the water table? What is that?
That's just a table. Do
Okay.
you want it?
Do I want the table?
Do you want it closer
If
to
it
you?
costs me money, no, I don't want your table. It's just strange because it has this weird light bar and then a water bottle just staring at me.
You want the? Hang on, let me grab the. Oh, I'm gonna burn myself. You want to grab the remote?
Oh, you don't want to reach over the
Yeah,
the
because
flame?
I don't want to, set myself. I don't want to become Johnny Storm. Flame on!
That was such a bad movie.
I actually rewatched it recently
Is that any why?
because I felt like it. It was something I watched during childhood, right? And it was
It
something.
was still bad back
No,
then.
I enjoyed it.
I was a child and I knew it was
No,
bad.
I watched
It's
it
like, wow.
just simply for the fact of I like Chris Evans, I like Johnny Storm, and the characters, the actors were fine.
Guys are
Yeah, that's right. I enjoyed it. I actually rewatched it and enjoyed it.
I can't wait until they make it again how it's supposed to be for the MCU.
Yes, I think it could be really cool. Same with the X-Men.
Yeah, that's gonna be some work. I hope they don't just shove it all in there.
Right.
I hope they start small.
They do it right.
with Wolverine or
kind
something.
of trickle it in.
Yeah.
But then again, we've seen
But
Wolverine so much.
We've talked about how we don't know how they're gonna do Wolverine, or should they even do him?
Yeah.
Because Hugh Jackman is Wolverine.
Right. And recasting would be so difficult. But on
Yeah,
top of that,
because
he's
it's
been done
him.
so much as Hugh Jackman. It's just synonymous with his name. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it'd
there's
be
no-
difficult to do.
Right.
And plus, that story's been told so much that I think you could focus on
But
a
it's the
different
same
character.
concept. Well, I guess that's a mantle, so it doesn't really count. But I was like, it's the same concept as Captain America, as Steve Rogers Captain America.
Right.
Steve Rogers is Chris Evans.
Right. And same with Tony
And he
Stark.
and it should Tony
Tony
Stark,
Stark,
is
Robert Downey Jr..
Robert Downey Jr. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't
that's
work
who
any
they
other
are.
way.
Yeah. So.
But how do you feel about the Doctor Strange rumors? Where all these people who were either going to be casted or were other characters in the Marvel universe in different movies are going to be in it.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't look at that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
want to turn
see
your
it.
phone off? We're recording a podcast here.
Sorry, the audience is misbehaving. Technical difficulties. And then that's when you go. The screen with the. Yeah.
That noise.
Yeah, no, I don't look at stuff like that, like character rumors and stuff, just because I don't know, I'm an old-fashioned that way. It's like when I watch the movie, that's when I'll find out.
Right.
Like
I like that.
the only reason I knew about Tobey Maguire and spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Great movie.
Great movie. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in it.
Right. If you didn't know.
It might be old enough that
The
people
guy
have
from
already seen
Tick
it.
Tick Boom, and then the other guy
Tick, Tick,
from
Boom. Oh my gosh.
from
From Spider-Man.
No. No, the other guy
from Spider-Man.
No, the other guy
right there.
from Frick. What was the movie? Great Gatsby. Tobey Maguire was in Great Gatsby.
Oh yeah, he's the
protagonist.
he's
or
like the
whatever.
narrator guy.
Yeah, yeah.
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 I forgot about that. That's a decent movie.
That is.
Yeah, but the only reason I knew about those guys in that movie is because it was impossible to
Not
go
to,
anywhere on the
right.
internet
and not hear
without
rumors,
hearing it. Yeah.
Right.
So I just really don't care because they're gonna do it how they do it, and when the movie comes out, I'll see it.
And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, because there's I feel like there's very little that I personally can do to change people's minds.
Right.
They're gonna cast and direct the film how they want to, and the No Way Home Spider-Man, they really played to the fans, I think.
Yeah.
But that was over a kind of a longer period of time, I guess. So.
True. I really like.
Who's sending me stuff on Instagram? Peter?
Shrivels back in his seat. But there's some ridiculous rumors. There's rumors that Tom Cruise, who was going to be Iron Man, is going to be Iron Man, an alternate version of Iron Man.
See, the thing is, they work. There's so much. There's so much to work with now because of alternate universes that
Right.
have been confirmed in the MCU that it's okay, whatever. If he wants to be Iron Man in a different universe, that's fine. But it's fine because it's not this universe.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
or the MCU or
Right.
whatever you want to call it. So.
But on top of that, there's what fans are saying online is there's just going to be a ton of these ridiculous cameos that they think are going to get worked into the movie, kind of like in No Way Home.
Right.
Because
Like the
you think
thousands of Spider-Man characters.
Well, not
that,
only
they're
that,
all supposed to show
but
up.
like,
Yeah, it's like
the Chris Evans
it's a
is
2.5
Chris
hour
Evans
movie.
is the Human Torch is one.
that would be
crazy.
that would actually be enjoyable. I don't know why that would even matter to
Because
the
they'd be
Doctor
like,
Strange movie, but
Steve Rogers.
just see him show
Captain
up
Rogers?
yeah, and then burst into
No,
flames.
my name is Johnny.
You think he'd shave like his head again for that role? 'Cause
Yeah.
wasn't he like buzz cut,
Yeah, he was. He was like crew cut, whatever.
beardless, and
Yeah.
he was young in that movie.
He was young.
He's hairless.
Yeah. But then there's
Hairless.
also
hairless Chris Evans, ladies and gentlemen.
That would be terrifying.
That would like a naked mole.
No eyebrows.
I knew a kid with no eyebrows.
That was the first time he.
I did too. He burned his eyebrows off. That's how he lost his eyebrows.
Here, censor my hair so I can fix my hat.
Oh,
There we go.
um,
I have not fixed my hair since I went to work, so it's like,
no point.
yeah, you don't even have to describe it. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. This man. Yeah. Well, No Way Home. We talked about No Way Home a couple times. We went and saw it, same showing, whatever. We talked about it afterwards.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, did I have anything, do you remember, did I have anything bad to say about it?
I don't remember.
Excuse
I
me.
mean, that was, granted, that was like a couple...
I know, I can't remember.
Almost a couple
yesterday.
months ago. We saw it really quickly after it came out. Like, I think the weekend it did.
Yeah, the weekend.
Yeah.
Hold on, I've got a burp coming, and I don't want to just talk and then burp in your face. So, okay, I think we're good. No, I thought it was really, really good. I can't think of anything bad about it. Lots of people are upset about like the way that they're dropping Tom Holland, the way they're kind of working his character,
Right.
and the way that like we don't know, is he done? Is he? I think it works fine because it allows him to, you know, stop whatever contract he has, and I know
heard
like
they
on
said-
interviews he
yeah.
wants to like move on. That's fine. So that works for
Right,
him, and it
right,
works for
right.
the universe because nobody. More spoilers, because nobody knows who Tom Holland Spider-Man is anymore. He's
Right.
just the friendly
He's
neighborhood
just Spider-Man. Right.
Yeah. I thought bringing in all the villains was good. I liked seeing Dr. Octavius again. That was really, really
yeah.
cool.
That was great.
And seeing him
Redeem
like,
himself. Get
armed
redeemed.
up,
Right.
but also himself. Like, he's Otto.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's
that
really
was cool.
And all the, callbacks? I don't know. All the connections. So, like, at one point he has that arc reactor that Electro was trying to steal.
Right.
And he says his quote, the power of the sun,
the power
of my
son.
hand.
Yeah.
Which is what he was trying to do in his universe. He was trying to create a sustainable power source. Which
Right.
Stark did. I just liked all of it. There's actually a detail that I actually read about. So people were talking about how Jamie Foxx is Electro. He's like, well, how come he has hair? Because when he was first Electro, he goes blue and bald.
he looks
and
like Dr.
translucent
Manhattan or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit weird, and then he comes back with hair or whatever. And I read something up about how continued exposure to the waves in electricity can promote like hair growth. And so I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, they probably didn't even plan on that, but somebody found the connection of like, he might have hair because he's been this way for a long time, so his hair has grown back. And I was like, huh,
That's dope.
interesting. And I'm sure Jamie Foxx liked having his hair back. So, as a good-looking man,
Right.
he probably hated the
Right.
stringy hair that they gave him in the first one.
Right.
No, I thought everything was good. Thing
Yeah.
with Green Goblin.
Oh, that
and
was
Osborn.
sweet. It
Yeah.
was really cool.
Yeah.
I think it was also cool to hear that voice again, because I think the Green Goblin has just this like iconic. Willem Dafoe kills it with
It's hard
that
to
with that
replace-
voice.
Yeah, it's hard to replace.
It's that
him.
creepy goblin voice that just works, and that me personally, I think would be dope to see him as the Joker, maybe in Robert Pattinson's Batman universe.
Right.
That'd be kind of dope.
He would really do it. He's getting a little bit older, but I mean.
But I mean, he did all the stunts he could do in.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, he did
them in
He
No Way
did his
Home.
own stunts. He
Yeah.
wanted to do his own stunts.
He likes to be immersed in what
Right.
they're doing. Yeah, he's a really interesting guy. No, he killed it, and yeah,
kind of a joke.
Get it because
dark joke.
because killed. Yeah. No, and I really liked the interaction between all the Spider-Mans, and you mentioned this, and this is why the movie worked for you. You never liked Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And I get your point because he was Spider-Man, but he wasn't like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He wasn't Spider-Man at a core.
Right.
Like he had Spider-Man abilities, and he was called Spider-Man. I thought he did great, and I understood that like he wasn't like the other Spider-Mans. It's like, oh, it's a different take. But in this movie where it really wraps it around and he gets a story, and everything comes together, and he has the other Peters to help him
be Spider-Man.
Be Spider-Man and make choices, and at the end saving his state of well-being, really. So
Right.
yeah. You heard a little at the end.
Oh yeah,
Nobody
totally.
knows who he is. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
Happy. The conversation with Happy.
Oh yeah.
But
I think that goes back to the core of Spider-Man, at least in my opinion, from what I've read and my personal love of what was probably my favorite character of all time is like, Spider-Man. Great power comes great responsibility, and that requires sacrifice as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, he sacrifices being with MJ, telling her everything, which probably would have blown her mind hole. You know what I mean?
Her mind hole.
Yeah,
she had a mind hole.
Because I don't think that conversation would have gone as.
It was interesting to see how they did it, and I'm like, well, maybe it's good that he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But also leaving open, like, what if he did? What if he sat in front of her? I feel like she's weird enough that she'd be like,
okay,
and kind of work with it. But yeah, that hurt. But I think it's really interesting because I love the MCU, but over time it's kind of lost its not
luster.
lost anything.
But
it's lacking.
It's kind of like ended this saga up to Endgame, in my opinion. It
Yeah.
kind of like it capped out at Endgame, and I didn't think they were gonna go anywhere else that could have been like even remotely as cool as what they had done in the past. At least for me.
Yeah, but I think they're keeping that going.
I think so too.
I think it's good to see.
Yeah.
But also regarding what was I going to say? Spider-Man, alter egos
Right.
are kind of like an essence of superheroes, like in comic books.
Especially
I think
Spider-Man.
I think it's really interesting that, like, in the MCU, as fantastic as it is,
There's
very
none
few of
Right.
them have that issue.
Mhm.
Like,
And-
people
and-
just kind of know who they are.
And even the ones that do have that issue, they don't really try to hide it.
Yeah, and they don't
and
bring
that-
it up.
yeah.
It's not pinpointed, but this really brings back and pinpoints, like, these superheroes have secret identities for a reason, and it's to protect people that they love. And so I think it's interesting that it kind of just brought it up in my mind, like, hey, this is focusing on that, whereas it hasn't really in the past.
Which was another gripe that I had, because Tom Holland's Spider-Man, every single time he met somebody new, in his Spider-Man costume,
I'm
he'd be like,
Spider-Man.
No, you wouldn't even say that. He'd be like, "Hi, I'm Peter. I'm
you're
Peter
like-
Parker." It's like, no, you're not. Put the
What?
mask on. You're Spider-Man. That's who you
Right,
are.
yeah.
That would bug me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I really liked it.
It was fantastic.
And also, like, I grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider. We both did. Grew up with the
Yeah,
Tobey
no,
Maguire.
and those are
then,
fantastic
And then on top of
movies.
that, Andrew Garfield. We
Yeah,
watched Andrew
yeah.
Garfield. I really
little
liked
less
it.
on the quality.
I liked it a lot,
but
though,
I
as a
liked
kid.
it, yeah.
And I think Andrew Garfield killed it in the movie. Like, I really.
He did
'Cause-
way
'cause-
better in this new movie than he did in
But
the
I
old
don't,
ones.
because I don't think the problem with those old Spider-Man
Has to do
movies
the writing.
was no. It wasn't even Spider-Man that was the issue with those old Amazing Spider-Man movies. I think it was more like, there were other things, but I never thought, when it came to Spider-Man, I always thought Spider-Man was one of the strong points. It was Spider-Man, and then the relationship between Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy, or Peter Parker. And
It was just
Gwen
everything
Stacy.
surrounding that part of the movie that was awful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just, it was a diamond in the rough.
I still think he did better in this one.
Oh, yeah.
He killed it.
You
And
stole
kind
the
of-
show.
You kind of see different stages. It's interesting because they're all different Peter Parkers, but you see different stages of Spider-Man.
Right.
Of
You
like
see
Tom Holland
yes.
who's becoming Spider-Man.
Right, right, the
Then you see
new
Andrew
one.
Garfield who has seen like the sacrifice of Spider-Man and what it does to him.
Yeah.
And then Toby, who they don't really talk about what he's doing,
Yeah,
which is kind
he's
of
just
annoying.
I have a personal fan theory that he's Peter B. Parker from Spider-Verse. Because it kind of it fits.
Yeah, people have
he
said
says,
that.
Because he says, like, MJ and I are like, we're figuring it out or whatever.
Right?
And so it's
And
kind
they
of
just
like,
leave it.
and
And
then
you're
it's
like-
kind of like, I wonder. Because I mean, that version of Peter Parker is very heavily based on the Raimi movies, right? And so it's kind
Yeah.
of like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You know, that would be kind of cool to find out,
Right.
like, that it is.
Right.
But then again, it was different voice actors or whatever. But I
Right.
still think that could be something. That'd be kind of cool. You know what I mean? But
And just to see
Just
the
a
fact that,
theory.
like, he's struggling with something.
Right.
But, like, he doesn't understand at
it's
first.
Bully
that it's
Bully
like,
McGuire. That's what he's struggling with.
he's right. He's in this.
How is
in
this helping?
new universe now, and he just doesn't. He puts all his problems aside. They don't tell you what his problems are, but he's got them. He doesn't really talk. He's
Which
like,
is
"Oh,
really
well,
Spider-Man."
We're working it out,
Yeah.
and he helps this other
Right,
Peter, and
right.
you're like, "Well, tell me what he's doing."
It's a very Spider-Man thing to do.
Yeah.
I gotta say that just for the sake of mentioning this, the scene where Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, catches MJ,
I thought that was great that they added.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Because it gave like a redemption. Because
Well,
that
and
was
it-
something that
it
was
hurt,
eating. It was
obviously.
eating at him for like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 2014 was when Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
came
we
out.
don't know what
So
that whole.
yeah, so it could be like
Timeline
10,
happens.
10 years, hypothetically or theoretically or whatever
Yeah.
frick kind of word you want to use. That could be eating at him. That Gwen's death could be eating at him for that long.
I mean, we know it was eating at him in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good scene. And the fact that she's oblivious to the whole concept. But
Right.
yeah,
It's a good
it was
movie.
a good movie.
This is a good movie.
It was a really good movie.
You excited for Batman? The
I
Batman.
am. I've talked to you about that.
Yeah.
I really am, but I wish they would freaking pick a course and take it. Like,
Yeah, no more reboots. Just tired of it. You know what I mean?
because like some of them are fine by themselves, but DC really lacks continuity. It's just all over the place. I'm really looking forward to see this kind of
Yeah.
dark Batman sort of. You got some of that with Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale, and they did. Perfect
But that was
job.
more realistic
yeah.
than dark. You know what I mean?
But
It
yeah,
was
but
just
this is like a dark version of Batman, which
dark
you see in certain
noir.
comics and stuff, like the
Yeah,
very
yeah,
dark
yeah, yeah.
Batman.
I'm excited. It looks very noir, detective.
I want to make sure that they can.
And you
keep
can see
going at all.
Batman be a detective. It looks like in this movie,
Yeah.
like actually do detective work, which will be dope. Because
Yeah.
I mean, he's the world's greatest detective. Ra's al Ghul actually calls him detective or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Your mom's
I'm
Ra's al Ghul.
white.
Yeah, I like how he's known as the world's greatest detective, but he can't figure out who killed his parents.
No, he does. He does figure out who kills his parents.
And
though.
then he decides
It's Joe
not
Chill.
to. Yeah,
It's Joe Chill.
yeah.
And then he decides
isn't
not
his
to get
chest in the
revenge.
almost knocked my phone off. That's why I have an OtterBox, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Product placement.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. His bat on his chest, isn't it made of like the gun fragments?
I think that is in the
From
comments.
Joe Chill?
Or comics.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Which is that's
I
a cool.
think that
That's
they
a
had
really
because
cool
you kind of
idea.
look at it in the trailer and stuff, and it does look like a slide and stuff like that from the gun.
It kind of looks like a batarang in itself. Like
Yeah.
it didn't. It
No,
wasn't
it's like
there.
wow, that's
If
yeah.
that is how it is in the movie, I mean, somewhere in the comics that's written.
I don't want to butt it. I mean, I haven't butt it at all. But
Robert's butting in.
yeah, I know.
Might not be able to be heard very well.
No, I'm
but
gonna yell.
We'll
I'm
repeat.
gonna yell so everyone can hear me.
you're yelling as us talking.
Shut up. No, fine. Okay.
I'll really yell.
I'll say everything. But I'm just excited for them to not have a super buff Batman back. Because Ben Affleck, when he was Batman, you couldn't
That's
really
fair.
tell
Okay.
he was Batman. He was
No-
just strong.
No buff Batman.
No buff Batman.
Yeah,
I
so
do-
He likes
I-
the character stylization of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Well,
sure,
yeah.
he's supposed to be big and buff, but in the comics, he's known as broad shoulder, small waist. And
Right.
What Affleck
Well,
is.
I
Like
think
an athlete.
because
Like a nimble, strong
right,
guy.
yeah. But I think the difference with Ben Affleck's and like others is Ben Affleck's was supposed to be based off like the Dark Knight Rises, or not the Dark Knight Rises, but the Dark Knight comic series or whatever,
Mhm.
where he is bigger and stockier and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff because he's an older Batman.
Where he's built like a fridge.
But
He is kind of built like a
yeah,
Not
exactly.
Ben Affleck, but the way they
But the way
CGI'd
they,
him.
the,
Yeah. He's pretty ripped, but
he is, yeah. But the only thing I don't like about that version of Batman is he kills, and Batman doesn't kill. You know what I mean?
yeah, that didn't really bother me because there's certain adaptations where
He does, right?
he does.
Like even in the Batman '89 with Michael Keaton.
yeah,
Yeah, he literally straps a bomb to some dude's chest, throws him.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
actually kills
and it's
people.
a very interesting concept. Like I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it. I don't promote murder, but
Right.
but like the kind of person he is, like some people have to be killed, and I think that was a
Right.
big. But it is also a big point, like in Christian Bale's Batman, or
It's like I don't.
Christopher Nolan. That's the director. I was like,
Yeah.
or that other guy
Right,
that
right,
directs
right,
the movie.
right.
That was a main point of like struggle for him, because like the Joker probably needed to die
Right.
sooner than later, but that was his thing, is he was
Yeah.
battling. Well, I don't do this.
Right.
And
But I think
so he's
well,
battling that morality
what-
within himself.
What reminds me of that is like in Daredevil, which is a great show, very good show.
You're talking
Um,
about the
it's-
series on
Netflix,
Netflix
not the movie, the series
that
on Netflix.
Marvel did, the MCU did, but Marvel did it. It's not a part of it.
Right, right.
Well, it is now.
It's confusing.
It is now.
It's confusing. It's not
the movie
confirmed
we're gonna-
'Cause he's a really good lawyer.
But Daredevil is confirmed in the MCU. I don't know how much of the show is, but in the show,
Watched a
there's
little bit of it.
there's like this going back and forth between Daredevil and Punisher in season 2, where they're talking about
Right.
these questions of morality and all that kind of stuff. And the reason that Daredevil at least doesn't kill is because he believes in redemption. Everybody should have a second chance.
Everybody should have a second chance.
You know, because well, granted, there are people that are not going to take that second chance, but that's the risk that they have to. Giving them that
But
second
that's
chance.
what you-
That's kind
you
of like
give them the chance.
what makes them a hero is that they give a second chance. That was Trevor's hands, everyone.
I was thinking of doing
He's
my
wearing
toes,
flip.
but-
He's wearing flip flops. We don't want to see your toes. Keep them off. Keep them off screen.
They're so cold.
Go warm them on Robert or something.
Oh.
Come here.
Here, we don't need to go for too much longer, but do we anything else?
What's that video of the guy? What's the video? We'll talk about that in a
Snyderverse?
second. What's the video of the guy who the reporter asked him a question?
Do you have anything else to
Do
say?
you have anything else to say? Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
They did it twice too. They asked him again.
And I love his face. His face is just very like, and you're like, where do they find these people?
Here.
So
I
Peter was
would've
talking
done
about
that.
the Snyderverse.
I haven't seen the Snyder
The
cut.
voices in the back.
Snyder cut.
I have seen it.
You have? Did you like it?
It was way better than the actual.
Oh, I bet.
Released
Well,
film.
anything could be better than that.
It was dummy long. How long was it? It was like 4 hours.
I haven't seen either one.
It was like a Lord of the Rings movie.
It's
Lord of the
longer.
Rings is still better than it though.
Oh, I believe
Oh,
it. Lord of the
yeah,
Rings
but
is
that's a
so
classic.
good.
But no, it was really good. But the problem is they're not going to run with it,
Yeah, they're not going to continue it.
and so
Which
it makes
sucks.
it makes
It
it almost
really
even
sucks.
worse.
Yeah.
That you're like, well, just give up.
It's like watching a series that you like. Let's
And
talk
then
about,
it ends.
Yeah, like canceled TV series that get like full seasons and then they just get canceled.
Season 7 of Clone Wars.
Season 7. Well, Clone Wars was an example back in the day, but then they kind of have an ending now.
Not kind of. It's a great. I think it's a
oh,
great
yeah.
season.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, they
I
did.
really
They just
like
dropped it, and you're like, ah.
But and then
we all knew it was like you got to fill in the spaces, and they're still doing that with new movies like Han Solo, and like,
Right.
they're just filling it
Right.
all in. So.
But then there's other shows like Spectacular Spider-Man's an example where that got
gosh.
canceled.
That was a good
Avengers,
one.
Earth Mightiest Heroes, Wolverine and the X-Men. There's all these cartoons, and even I've heard, was it Firefly or whatever?
They talk about it on Big Bang. Sorry, I just
They talk
watched
ab-
Big Bang, and
they-
they talk about how, Firefly, it'll never get canceled, and it gets canceled after like the first season.
Right.
Yeah,
And then I remember that's talked about in Community.
how it was
also.
supposedly a really good show. I've never seen
it either.
It was supposed to be a great show, and then they're just like, oh, we're done.
But yeah, but like it follows in the footsteps of that. A great thing gets canceled for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's the same kind of idea. You're like, wow, this is a fantastic movie, but that's going nowhere. There's so much setup. If you've seen it, there's so much setup and depth to it that wasn't seen in the crappy Justice League they released. And it's just gonna end.
Yeah.
They're not. They suck. They suck. DC sucks.
Thanks, Warner Brothers.
Thanks, Warner Brothers.
Which is a shame because DC used to be on top. You know what I mean?
Well,
Back in the day.
When it comes to animated,
Oh, especially with animated stuff.
animated films and TV shows,
Animated-
DC takes over. But
Have you ever watched any of their animated stuff? Like Batman Under the Red Hood. would be great. I think you would really like that. That one's really
I've
good.
seen some of it. They like Robert was saying, TV show. They were good at TV shows.
Oh yeah, Batman
And
the
their
animated
movies were like-
series. I
were
loved
like,
Batman Beyond. Was one of my favorite shows. Is one of
Young
my favorites.
Justice,
Young Justice.
Titans.
Oh, Young Justice. Teen Titans. Oh
What about the live action one?
no.
I've actually been watching that. I'm behind.
Do you like it?
I get distracted. I do. I mean, I like it. I'm not super invested in like the Titans like comic base,
Right.
and so I guess I'm more free flowing and like, oh well, this is a pretty good show, and so I felt like it moved really fast, and it's old enough. You've seen it. The first season ended with what's the demon guy's name?
Trigon.
Yes, and it's about like Raven, fighting who she is and stuff. But they literally defeat Trigon in the first season. You're like, Trigon is like
That was like
an
set up-
all-powerful
right,
demon,
Right.
and they're just like, oh yeah, he's gone.
He's like
in
evil
a
god.
40-minute episode,
Right.
and you're like, oh my, yeah, he was freaky. They did good with him, but no, I like that. But I feel like I'm trying to think of other live-action DC that.
I mean, the first seasons of like Arrow, The Flash.
Yeah, the Arrow, the Flash is really good.
I really liked The Flash for a long, long time.
Yeah, and so.
And then I stopped watching it and didn't care anymore. Yeah.
Oh, the Flash was good.
I really liked Arrow. I was a huge fan of Arrow.
It was amazing.
The first two
I haven't-
seasons just killer.
They
I love
they
'em.
ended that show, right? Didn't
Yes.
they? Did he die?
Yeah, it was this big thing. It was like
Yes.
multi.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was.
But-
Did he
Yeah,
die
they
good?
tried bringing him back and
Did he die good? Like
Kind
was it a
of.
good-
It was.
No.
Well,
Because I watched
really
the first
sucked.
bit of that and it was
'cause
good.
the-
It was a very dark show.
Yeah.
But that's DC. So.
Yeah, the TV universe started out really strong, and that's why I think there were so many shows. But from where I'm standing right now, from what I can tell, it's not what it used to be, which is
Yeah.
a shame. It's a crying shame because it was really good. I remember the heydays. Those were
They're
some
trying to
good
just
shows.
keep up with
Those are-
Marvel. And
then
they're
you ever
not
seen Gotham?
doing it.
Gotham was pretty good. I
I've
liked
been
Gotham.
meaning to watch it
I like
because
it.
I'm like, oh, this is a very different take on something in the comics.
It does. It's like a prequel, so it covers Gotham before Batman, right? And young Bruce Wayne and all that. But the last scene, I'm going to spoil it a little bit. The last frame of the show
Probably
is
won't watch it.
is zooming in on Batman, on Bruce Wayne as Batman. But they didn't recast.
Like old.
So they didn't recast him as
So
Batman.
it's a child.
So it's still the child. But granted, he's like in his late teens now, but he's still a child. You can clearly tell. And also, the Batsuit sucks. It doesn't look
Is it
cool at
I'll
all.
have to look up a picture.
It looks. I need to find
Here,
it.
I'll do it right
Yeah, find it. It looks so immensely bad. But the show, the show, I think is really good.
haven't seen it, but
I really enjoyed it.
there was one scene I just keep watching all over the internet, and it's like him at a auction or something. And some
Yeah, it's all over Instagram. Gosh dang it. He's bidding against.
some lady.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
says $5,001,000.
And it's like, this guy's a snot.
Well, yeah, because that was young Bruce Wayne. Yeah, that was really fun. I honestly, that was my only nitpick really from the show. Oh no, that's like
that it?
that's like the pre-suit. That's it. That's after he's like grown
Reminds
up.
me, it's almost worse than like Michael Keaton's necklace one.
Oh my god.
I actually didn't mind it so much because it was a comic movie, but the fact that he couldn't turn his neck was hilarious.
It really does not look good.
Let's go, Robin.
But then again, I mean, nothing.
How do
can be-
people not sneak up on him and just
Because of
It's
his
'cause there's
greater
like-
hand.
3 inches of polymer on his neck? Bulletproof polymer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross.
But I
How they
think-
do with like the villains? That's I like that part of shows. Like
The
if there's no good
villains?
antagonist.
They set up a lot of villains for Batman, which is kind of
I
annoying
heard
to
was
me.
Bane was not good.
Bane was.
They have never done Bane good.
Bane
Dark
was
Knight
eh.
Rises was okay, but it wasn't.
It wasn't comic book Bane. Bane's supposed to be like from like. Oh,
They really-
his country is Santa Prisca. That's what it's called, and he's supposed to be like this big luchador, like he's this big
right,
dude.
and it doesn't have to be like cheesy luchador.
Right.
It just
He's
has
just
to
gotta
be,
be
done.
a big
They
guy.
really nailed like his intelligence in Dark Knight Rises because some of the other adaptations he's like big and he's got the Venom serum, which is another thing that they always leave out. And, you know, he's big, but they act like he's, like, dumb. But he's supposed to be, like, super smart.
He's not a brute. He's
supposed to be super intelligent.
He's Batman's Bane.
Yeah.
That's why he's Bane. He's Batman's Bane. Yeah.
But they skipped out on the Venom and everything.
Well,
in
that's
the Dark Knight Rises.
Batman's nemesis. Joker's Batman's nemesis, but Bane is Batman's Bane. He's the one that breaks Batman's back.
Multiple times.
Well, yeah, multiple times.
Multiple times.
That would suck.
Wonder what would break first, your spirit or your body?
I'm not gonna lie.
That was crazy.
There are some insane lines from Bane in the Dark Knight movies.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that was probably the best they've done. They just left out
Parts that were cool. They left out aspects that were really cool.
Yeah, he's not. Well, I say roided up. It's more than that, but there's so much aspect. Like I didn't even mind the mask was fine.
I
He
didn't
needed
mind
help
the mask
breathing,
either.
whatever. It's
No
just
one
they
cared
miss-
who I was till I put.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
They were just
Windows can.
they were just
Oh,
missing
yeah.
it.
The fire.
I was speaking to the microphone.
What happens when I take that mask off? It will be very painful for you. And he throws him out of plane. You're like, oh my goodness. Can you imagine?
I
Did
need
you
to
see that?
rewatch
Remember
those
that?
movies.
The plane just falls out of the sky,
I need to rewatch
and they're
those
just towing it,
movies.
just, and they all fall through the plane. You're like,
It's even crazier than
isn't that
Fast
like
and
the
Furious.
opening scene in that movie
It's
too?
it's like the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it's exactly like the.
The Fast and Furious copied it.
It's
You know-
with the cars.
Hold on, you know what my favorite Fast and
Different
Furious
people.
movie is?
Oh,
It's Fast
yeah.
and Furious Tokyo Drift. And that's Hayden's too. We watch it every Tuesday.
Okay, that's not true. I don't hate that movie.
Darn, it is Wednesday.
I like Sean, and I like up until he goes to Japan.
So you don't like them.
I just don't like the rest of it.
First, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah, my favorite scene in that movie is when he is racing his Monte Carlo. That Monte Carlo is so dope. I love that Monte Carlo. And he's racing that idiot from high school or whatever, the dummy with the Dodge Viper for the girl or whatever. And I love it because it's so Fast and Furious because they're racing, whatever. And then he starts blowing through the houses. And you're like, no.
It's not how it
That's
works.
not how houses work. The first
not
house,
made of plywood.
he would just, and his car would have caved in. Anyway, but I do love that. I love that car, and I hate that it gets smashed. But then when he's in the hospital and he's all bloody, and he's like smiling at the chick or whatever. Yeah, that's all I like about that movie.
And that was the
Hey, I hate you. They always bring it up.
We
They'll
do.
be like, oh, you know what we love? Tokyo Drift.
We do always bring it up. Enrique and I bring it up all the time.
Enrique's the worst.
We say it loud for him to
Because we always.
Yes,
yeah.
you say anything, or you start the little dun, dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun, dun. It's kind of catchy, it's fun, and so like sometimes I'll like hum it or whatever, and then Enrique's across the room. Like, how do you hear me? And he's like, you know what I love? Tokyo Drift. He just stopped whatever conversation he's having.
Well, majority of the time we purposely stop and then we all try to say it.
Oh my
individually.
gosh.
And then so we'll like start out in conversation. He's like, "Hey man, you know what movie I like?" He's like, "Oh, what movie? Oh, I
just-
think I know what movie you
tune it
like." It
out
was
at
like,
that
"Oh
point.
no, I know what movie you
And
like."
we wait
And then
till
we
you
all
look at us.
we all
Just
wait
tune
until
it
it's
out.
dead silent, and then we say in unison, "Tokyo
Tokyo
Drift."
Drift.
It's the best Fast and Furious. That's what we say also. The best Fast and Furious movie.
What is the best one?
I don't know.
The first one.
Probably.
That's the only one.
The cars get cooler as you go.
But
They
the stunts
expand
get
more.
more ridiculous.
Yeah, and it becomes more of a save the world sort of thing rather than a underground car scene.
How are we gonna
sorta.
save the world? We'll do it with family.
When he drives a submarine and but the cars they get like in the newest one, I haven't seen it, F9 or whatever it's called. There's actually, so I'm a car guy.
Right.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yep.
And they make a Charger. They make a mid-engined Dodge Charger for that movie. There's a shop called Speedcore. Speedcore. I don't know if that's the actual shop name, but Speedcore Customs or something like that. And they made the car, and it drives in the movie. It doesn't do any of the stunts because they don't want to smash it.
Right.
But it actually drives, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So the cars get cooler, and there's nods here and there, and like car shops that I know make cars for the movie, stuff like that. But the plot gets less and less appealing.
Yeah, it becomes more of just it's kind of like Transformers. Okay, tell me this would not be a dope crossover. Transformers with Fast and Furious.
Kind of like Transformers.
Those movies are just movies.
Just
where
said
I
that so
turn off
lightly.
my brain and just-
Come on, would that not be dope?
It would
that
be
crossover?
no, it would be awful.
I
The
think
concept
sounds really cool on
sounds
paper.
amazing.
Yeah, because think about it like
but
this.
I know that
like
they
he-
would take it, they'd put it on the butcher block, and they'd go, and they'd chop the head off. They'd ruin it.
Right. But I think just imagine this. Just imagine like
My name
Dom.
is Optimus
No,
Prime.
Dom steals a
Dom
car.
comes up with a wrench. He's like, "What? What do you got? I got family."
No, yeah, Dom like steals. He steals like this old. He steals like a 1965
And it's a
yellow
Transformer.
Camaro
gosh.
with the black
No, that would
stripes.
suck so much.
And then the Camaro turns into Bumblebee. He's like, I guess you're part of the family now.
There'd be no there'd be no like chemistry. Cause like there's some chemistry where like Bumblebee doesn't talk, he like talks with his radio and stuff, and the way they did in the Transformers movies works. Like I feel like Dom would just there would be nothing happening. It'd be
I
like,
think it'd be hilarious.
yeah, it'd be weird.
No, I'd be down to see that.
It would be weird.
Universal make it
Yeah,
happen.
Dom just comes up with a wrench.
Paramount.
We have family. It's like, well, I'm a giant space robot, so
My name's Megatron.
those movies are ridiculous. Oh, you know the scene where he fights Jason? What's his face? That's not his name in the movie.
Jason Derulo?
No.
Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo. No, he fights the British guy. Gosh,
Oh.
what's his name? It's in the
Jason Statham.
Yeah, it's in the one where there's a dispute about the brother, and anyway. But they crash into each other, and then they get out totally fine, and then they're beating each other with like wrenches and crowbars and crap, and
like
then
you beat-
they're fine, and then they're fine. They're in the next movie. You're like, dude, that guy died. Like that first hit,
Yeah.
they were going like 90 miles an hour, and they smashed.
They both
end
died.
front to front, and you're like, those guys are dead. They're both dead.
Movie over.
I know their cars aren't like crumpled. That's my favorite. I know enough about cars that it's a little bit hard, but that's why I love the movie.
You suspend all disbelief and just
Yes.
enjoy it for
Yes,
the
I'm
ride.
like, I get it. Cars
Enjoy it
don't
for
do
the
that.
ride or die.
Or when they spin around. What's the
Get it?
is that in the third one? I think it's in the third one. The famous spin where they come up to each other and then they both drift it and they like
They look right
they
at
pass
each other.
the full on woman through the window and you're like,
Is that the one where they're doing the bank heist?
yeah, and she's like the tech lady. I don't know. All the
All of them blur together.
women, all the hot women they put in the movie are blurring together.
Accurate.
It's the one with the
It's a typecast,
poofy
if
hair.
I'm being honest.
poofy hair. The one with the poofy
I was like,
hair.
yeah.
Anyway, she's like
That's
the
true.
key. She has like passwords or whatever. So they're trying to like get her, and so they pass her through. They get like this close, and she's just like through the window into the other car, and then they're like, "Where'd she go?"
To the hospital. No, to the
Right?
graveyard. To the
Split in
morgue.
half when they biff the drift, and the cars split apart. Yeah, those are great movies.
I've only seen the first one.
They're-
What?
It's a wild ride.
It's okay. That's the best one.
My dad's like, these movies are so stupid. I don't want you to ruin
It's
it, right?
culture.
We're gonna binge
culture,
them.
man.
We're gonna binge them, and then we'll review them.
It's culture.
One by
you
one.
uncultured swine.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch when I get back from my mission and when Ryan gets back, so we go boring.
Sure.
We're gonna watch F10 and F11 and F12 when you come home.
They'll be at like 15, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, come on.
Hobbs and Shaw, though, that was a good one.
It was still
Still Fast and Furious, still crazy.
Somehow.
When they're holding the helicopter back with a line of these freaking
tow truck.
That's
dope,
the newest
these
one.
dope
I-
hot rods. Yeah, I mean they're so cool, but it's like,
Ridiculous.
That's not how helicopter
not
work.
like- I'm not super educated, but I'm like doing the
Helicopter
math,
go
and I'm
up.
like,
That doesn't make sense.
that doesn't work.
But then again, Captain America did do that in Civil War. Like he held down a hop.
Well, he's
helicopter.
Captain America.
But you have to account for the universe and what happens in it. Does
Okay,
that make
that's fair.
sense?
That's
like,
fair.
there's no universe for Fast and Furious. We assume,
It's supposed to be in our world.
right? It's supposed to be our
That's
world.
where you
but like
connect
Captain
Transformers,
America,
dude.
That's right.
Captain America is a super soldier, and so we assume that he has enough strength to do that.
Or at
It
least
was a
in-
small
Yeah.
helicopter. At least for a while, doesn't he let go of it or something? Oh no, he turns it into the. Okay, yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, he's holding
yeah.
it, and then Bucky
No, I
turns
thought
it into
so.
the helicopter pad and starts chopping it up. Yeah.
Right. And somehow Captain America doesn't die because he's Captain America.
He didn't get hit. He's just like.
I love Captain America.
he's
Like,
great.
that was my favorite. That is my favorite character in the MCU. All right, we're going into too much. Any final thoughts? We've been recording for upwards of 46 minutes.
Our Star Wars one was almost an hour. Was
It was over an hour. It was an hour and 30 minutes. I chopped it down to an hour.
I watched
Wow.
that one.
So we're fine. We got 15 minutes.
No, let's not go to an hour. Well, I mean,
Why
what time
not?
is it?
Hit him with a big one. I like watching my voice show up on the recorder.
Peter, what should we talk about?
So stop talking. Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of fun.
He's what?
talk about lighthouses, bro.
Let's talk
All
about
right. Yeah, that's not-
ladies and gentlemen, lighthouses.
Let's talk about lighthouses. All right. I mean, that's
Peter
a fun.
is wearing his "Let's Talk About Lighthouses" shirt.
That
by
is-
the way,
Yeah. So
we don't have it in the merch store yet, but I made it for his birthday.
That would
'cause
be
Peter. This is Peter. This is the famous Lighthouse Peter off screen.
right. He was in the Anytime show
You need to
Do you
like,
still have that
glue
footage?
together.
I was gonna say you should cut that footage and put it in the.
of him attacking Trevor.
No, just of him going, lighthouses over the phone. Over the phone. That's Peter. That's Peter. We've all grown since the lighthouses.
That was
That was a year and a half ago or something like that. Almost 2 years. Yeah. I mean, would this be a good time for us to ask why you said lighthouses?
Dude, that was just the first thing that popped in my head. I'm just sitting there, I'm like,
What were you doing?
I don't even remember. I think I was in the car or something.
Swimming.
Still remains a mystery.
Remains a mystery to even him. He doesn't know.
That was the best one too. We called a couple people. They came good with Kenna came up with some food options.
yeah,
or
like
whatever.
cheeseburgers versus
Yeah,
hot
I
dogs
remember
or
that.
whatever.
But Peter's was legendary.
Apparently, you only talked about it for 10 minutes.
But lighthouses,
What do we talk about?
I don't remember.
They're towers with lights on the top to guide people home.
all we
There's
really,
so much more than that.
honestly, all we really talked about when it came to lighthouses
was
just
why
like-
he said it.
Yeah, why he
like,
said it,
why?
and also just stupid stuff. Like I said, maybe they were inspired to make lighthouses after that one scene in Lord of the Rings.
Yes. And I said yes, for sure. That's where they came up with lighthouses.
And then I think
And we talked about how it would come up in every podcast ever, and here we are talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I made the compilation video of at least my personal favorite moments from the podcast. And
Is it in there?
there's just this entire ending segment of every time a lighthouse is mentioned in each podcast.
I
And-
remember that, and you tally it or whatever.
Yeah. And I put
Add
I think
this
I
one to the
put
bunch. I'm telling you, it was gonna haunt us, and it still is.
and I'm
in
fine
a good
with it.
way.
I'm totally fine with it. Yeah.
In a good way.
It's one of those, it's an inside joke that just works.
It's funny because it's an inside joke, but not even though, because we don't even know what it means.
Yeah, it's an inside joke, but it's not a joke. It's just
It's serious.
It's just inside.
Lighthouses.
Lighthouses.
Support the cause of lighthouses.
Oh, next podcast we should turn this into
To a lighthouse. That's not dangerous. Let's put the fire pit on another tower. That's what they used to be, though. They used to light fires at the top
and then have
of stone towers.
mirrors, and then reflect the light outward.
Yeah.
Right.
And sailors coming in were like,
What do you think a lighthouse in space would look like?
nothing. There's no air.
But
Kidding.
no,
I'm
not
kidding.
with fire.
I'm kidding. No, it wouldn't.
It would have orbit.
Wouldn't
It
really.
wouldn't work because
It would be
the
like
light
a.
would be
It
pointless.
would be like a lighthouse. You know what I mean? Because
the light wouldn't
doesn't
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not. So I think what they would do would be like a quote unquote lighthouse. Like they would call it. They would dub it the lighthouse.
Like
Meaning-
a station.
it'd be
or
like
something.
it'd be like a satellite or whatever that
Like in the
directs
sci-fi
people.
movies.
Right. Yeah.
report to the
That-
lighthouse.
that, like,
And
yeah.
they come in and it's like
It'd be like a docking station in between going.
they
From
should
place to
hire
place.
me for
That's not a bad
coming
idea
up
to
with
be
space
complete-
introductions.
That would not be a. And then it's just what's the theme sound like for the
lighthouse?
song?
Dun 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 dun. And then it just fades away.
Dun 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 dun.
What's it about?
The movie?
You know what? I can't stop thinking about that movie that I watched recently, that sci-fi movie with the bald lady.
Doctor
Underwater?
Strange?
Was it underwater?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, definitely Doctor Strange with the bald lady.
Yeah, there is a. It's still
not
the
sci-fi.
Swinton. It's still the Swinton.
I don't know any
The Sorcerer
other
Supreme.
sci-fi
Yeah.
Sorcerer
Supreme.
And now we're just rambling.
Yeah.
Isn't that all podcasts though?
Pretty much.
Well, most of them have a structure, except for the
You know,
last
it'd be a
one
cool
we did.
ending
What?
if you cut the flame and I threw my hat on the, so it looks like the hat's.
Okay. Okay. Let's.
You would still burn.
I was about to say,
Are you ready?
yeah, turn it all the way off.
You're gonna burn.
No.
Hi, that's why I'm waiting for Sean.
It's not going down.
Okay. Oh, going up. Okay, putting it back on. I don't trust Sean with fire.
It's not going down. It's just going up. There we go.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Well,
That's all, folks.
that's all, folks. Hayden, how do we sign these off?
Oh, do we sign them off? Sorry, hold on.
Like
Like
And-
a good neighbor, stay over there. You've never heard that? I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Like, is that how we end it?
Yeah. You got to promote the channel, right?
Yeah,
Like-
but usually Hayden just left.
Usually I do just leave, huh? Like I just did. You roped me
Well,
back
a
in.
lot of them were online.
Smash! Smash that like button. No, seriously, give it a watch, which is a funny thing to say at the end of a video.
Yeah.
Because you don't know until you watch it.
Putting that at the end of the.
Give it a watch.
Get that view count up.
Yeah. All right. So
Get that view. Watch it multiple times.
Give this video a watch again.
It might
and
be
again,
different
again.
every time you watch it.
And you know, oh, I do have an announcement. I am going to be releasing my second EP on February 6th. That's when it'll hit Spotify, Apple Music, all that
Mark
jazz.
your calendars. Your
Mark
paper
your
calendars.
It's gonna be on Pandora. It's wow.
Paper
It's-
calendars,
It's
mark 'em.
mark your paper calendars.
And then after you mark the calendars, subscribe.
subscribe, and then also punch that like button and the notification
They already
bell.
smashed it. Now let's punch it.
It's just to make sure it's
The
dead.
like button doesn't need this kind of abuse.
Anyway, like and subscribe. Love you. No, I don't.
It's a long outro. Don't cut it up. Just leave it super long and awkward.
Yes. Bye.